Forged maps, they're not just for treasure hunters. They've been used to trick explorers and even entire nations. Maps are powerful tools. They let us explore the world without moving from our seats. But what if the map you're looking at is hiding something? What if it's lying to you? Well, today we're talking about one fake map that changed the course of history. So grab your magnifying glass, because we're about to get real. Maps have been around for thousands of years. Some of the oldest ones we know of are over 2,000 years old. Back in those days, they were usually made by putting little marks on clay tablets or pieces of papyrus. And a lot of times they were pretty rough when it came to showing the world how we know it now. I mean, back then, there were just some things that people didn't know yet. Like they didn't know Africa was a continent, so it wasn't on a lot of maps. Also, the whole "don't be an idiot" disclaimer that we put on modern maps wasn't around back then either. But most of the time, people who made maps back then tried their best to make them as accurate as possible. I mean, they had to estimate a lot of stuff, but they wanted to get it right. However, not everyone did. Enter our map that lied. It all started back in the year 1424. Back then, China was going through some stuff. A dude named Yongle was in charge, and he was really into exploring stuff. He wanted to know what was out there past his borders. He sent out these guys called envoy missions to go check it out. One of these missions went to the Middle East, and they brought back something very interesting: a map. Now this map was important because it showed places in Africa and Europe that Chinese explorers wanted to know about. But there was a catch. This map had a lot of made-up stuff on it. Some places that were shown on the map didn't actually exist, and others were way off when it came to where they were located. For example, India was way closer to China than it actually is. And this map also said that the Strait of Malacca was super close to the Arabian Peninsula, when in reality it's farther away. So why did the Chinese use this map if it was full of lies? Well, it turns out that Yongle actually knew it was fake. He knew that this map was wrong, but he used it anyway. Why? Because it helped him build a navy. Here's what he did. Remember how I said that India was way closer to China on this map? Well, Yongle took that and ran with it. He thought that if the map said India was close, then it must be true. So he started planning a sea route to India. See, up until that point, the only way to get to India was through the Middle East. But Yongle wanted a shorter route. He wanted to cut through the ocean instead of going around. And because of that fake map, he thought he could do it. So he made a huge navy to try and find this fake route. In total, he built over 180 ships. To put that number in perspective, the biggest navy in the world today has around 300 ships, so this was a big deal. But did Yongle find his route to India? Well, no, he didn't. The guy who did find it was a Portuguese explorer named Vasco da Gama. But before he found it, though, Yongle's fake map caused a lot of problems. After Yongle died, the Chinese stopped making these fake maps. But here's the thing. This map didn't just show up out of nowhere. Someone made it, we don't know who, but it was probably a European cartographer who wanted to hide China's potential competition. See, back then, Europeans were kind of in a race to find new trade routes. They were competing with each other to see who could get to India first. And if China got there first, then China would control the trade. Europeans didn't want that, so they lied to China. They gave them a fake map to send them in the wrong direction. And that's why our map lied. Do you know any obscure history facts? Share them below. Everyone loves learning new stuff, especially when it comes to maps. Check out this playlist to learn more about geography. And remember, don't trust everything you see on maps. You never know when someone might be trying to trick you.